दादा श्याम, श्री सुखमनी साहब। रूप न रंग न कुछ तेरा गुण ते पिरबेन, तिसे बुझाई नानका जिस होवे सो प्रसन्न। अष्टपदी। अबनासी प्रभ मन में राख, मानक की तू प्रीत त्याग। तिसते परे नाही कुछ कोय, सर्ब निरंतर एको सोय। आपे बीना आपे दाना, घर गंभीर गहीर सजाना। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर गोविंद, कृपान दान दयाल बख्शन। सात तेरे की चरनी पाए, नानक ते मन है अनुराय। मनशा पूरन सरना जो कर पाया सोई हो। हरण बरण जाका नेत्र होर, तिसका मंत्र न जाने होर। आनंद रूप मंगल सत जाके, सर्वतोग से ही गरता के। राज में राज, जोग में जोगी, तप में तपीसर, गृहस्थ में भोगी। ध्याय ध्याय भक्त में सुख पाया, नानक तिसपुर का कनी अंत न पाया। जाकी लीला की मत नाए, सगल देव हारे अवगाए। पिता का जन्म क जाने पोत, सगल परोई अपनी सोत। सुमत ज्ञान ज्ञान जिन दिए, जिन दास नाम ध्यावे सिय। तय गुण में जाके बरमाई, जन्म मरई फिर आवे जाई। ऊंच नीच तिसके आस्थान, जैसा जनावे तैसा नानक जान। नाना रूप नाना जाके रंग, नाना भी करे एक रंग। नाना बुध कीनो विस्तार, प्रभ अविनाशी एक ओंकार। नाना चलत करे खिन माय, पूर रहो पूरन सब ठाए। नाना बुध कर बनत बनाई, अपनी कीमत आपे पाई। सब गढ़ तिसके सब तिसके ठाव, जब जब जीवे नानक हर नाव। नाम के दारे सगली जंत, नाम के दारे खंड ब्राह्मण। नाम के दारे सुमरत वेद प्राण, नाम के दारे सुनन ज्ञान ध्यान। नाम के दारे आकाश पाताल, नाम के दारे सगल आकार। नाम के दारे परिया सब भवन, नाम के संग उदरई सुन सरवन। कर कृपा जिस अपने नाम लाई, नानक चौथी पद में सोजन गत पाई। रूप सत जाका सत स्थान, पुरुष सत केवल प्रदान। करतूत सत सत जाकी बाणी, सतपुरुष सब माय समाणी। सत कर्म जाकी रचना सत, मूल सत सत उत्पत। सत करनी निर्मल निर्मली, जिसे बुझाई तिसे सब बली। सत नाम प्रभ का सुखदाई, विश्वास सत नानक गुरु ते पाई। सत बचन साधु उपदेश, सत ते जिन राखे जाके रखे परवेश। सत वचन साधु उपदेश, सत ते जिन जाके हृदय परवेश। सत निरत बुझई जे कोय, नाम जपत ताके गत होय। आप सत किया सब सत, आपे जाने अपनी मतगत। जिसकी सृष्टि करनी हार, और न बुझे करत विचार। करते की मत न जाने की ना, नानक ज्योतिष भावे सो वृत्तिया। बिस्मिन बिस्म भई बिस्माद, जिन बूझिया तिन आया सवाद। प्रभ के रंग राज जन रहे, गुर के बचन पदारथ लहे। ओए दाती दुख काटन हार, जाके संग तरे संसार। जिनका सेवक सो डबागी, जिनके संग एक लिव लागी। गुण गोविंद कीर्तन जन गावे, गुरु प्रसाद नानक फल पावे। गुण गोविंद कीर्तन जन गावे, गुरु प्रसाद नानक फल पावे। दादा श्याम।
दादा श्याम। बजरंग राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। बजरंग बली मेरी नाव चली, करुणा कर पारे लगा देना। करुणा कर पारे लगा देना। हे महावीरा हर लो पीरा, सतमार्ग मोहे दिखा देना। सतमार्ग मोहे दिखा देना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। दुखों के बादल घिर आए, लहरों में हम डूब जाए। आए, दुखों के बादल गिर आए, लहरों में हम डूब जाए। हनुमत लाला तू रखवाला, दिनों को आज बचा लेना, दिनों को आज बचा लेना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। सुखदेवन हारा नाम तेरा, पग पग पे सहारा नाम तेरा। सुखदेवन हारा नाम तेरा, पग पग पे सहारा नाम तेरा। अभयहारी हे हितकारी, कष्टों से आज छुड़ा लेना, कष्टों से आज छुड़ा लेना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। हे अमर देव हे बलवंता, तुझे पूजे मुनिवर सब संता। हे अमर देव हे बलवंता, तुझे पूजे मुनिवर सब संता। संकट हरना लगे शरणा, श्री राम से मोहि मिला देना, श्री राम से मोहि मिला देना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। बजरंग बली मेरी नाव चली, करुणा कर पार लगा देना, करुणा कर पार लगा देना। हे महावीरा हर लो पीरा, सतमार्ग मोहि दिखा देना, सतमार्ग मोहि दिखा देना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। दादा श्याम।
श्रीमद् भगवत गीता अध्याय 12 श्लोक 13। श्रीमद् भगवत गीता अध्याय 12 श्लोक 13। वैर भाव खां जो रहे थो परे, ऐं सभिनी जो मित्र। अभिमान ममता बिना खिम्यावान, दयालु रहे जो सदा संतोषी। ऐं सुख में ऐं दुख में आहे जो समान, यतन में रतन जो रहे थो पके निश्चवारो। मन बुद्धि मुँह में जो अर्पण करे, सोई भक्त में जो प्यारो, सोई भक्त में जो प्यारो। जिजे की न कहीं खान कहीं खेज जारे, ऐं चिंता खुशी का न्यारो। हसद नाहि जंहिंखे न कि क्रोध को, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। इच्छा रहित जो पवित्र चतुर जो, चिंता बिना जो करे तो सुधारो। फल की इच्छा सब पिछी जो करे, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। बिना हर्ष ऐं द्वेष, त्यागे तो जो भलो ऐं बुरो। चिंता रहित जो, न उमेदू अरे, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। शत्रु मित्र ऐं मान अपमान, थद गर्मी ऐं सुख दुख सभिन में समाभाव रखे थो। रहे राज़ी सब ते, निंदा स्तुति में सागी रीत हले थो। धन नजर मिल्कत बिना, ऐं शांति को अस्थिर चित्त वारो। सब्र में रहे जो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। सब्र में रहे जो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। अमृत रूपी ज्ञान, अमल में जो आने सची अश्रद्धा वारो। वछे शरण में जी, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। अमृत रूपी ज्ञान, अमल में जो आने सची अश्रद्धा वारो। वछे शरण में जी, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो, सोई भक्त मैं जो प्यारो। ओम तत्सत। ये श्रीमद् भगवत गीता उपनिषद ब्रह्म विद्या योग शास्त्र जो, श्री कृष्ण संवाद जो भक्ति योग वारो, 12 अध्याय पूरो थयो।
Now time for Aarti.
मां मंगतो तू शाह भवानी, मां दादा श्याम नूरी ग्रंथ प्यारे जे याद रख याद मोरे मना किया था थियन जोगी फना प्यारे जे याद में ध्यान कन था बन में माला फेरीन मन में प्यारे जे याद में दुआ दुखाइन विच वैरान वेही वेही मंज बयाबान प्यारे जे याद में जागी रात्यां राम रिझाइन विच पर्दे दिल में ध्यान प्यारे जे याद में बबूत लिंगन ते लगाइन कुर्ब में था कंद कपाइन प्यारे जे याद में संतविया से सुन में विच सीर प्याकुन में प्यारे जे याद में प्यारे जे याद में दादा श्याम
Nuri Granth in English. In remembrance of the beloved. Ever remember, my dear one, how the ascetics sacrificed themselves in remembrance of the beloved. In the forest, they meditate on him, and in their minds, they turn the beads of the rosary in remembrance of the beloved. In the middle of the desert, they sit and they stoke their fires in the midst of desolation in remembrance of the beloved. Remaining awake in the nights, they propitiate the Lord, and behind the veil, in the depth of the heart, they meditate on him in remembrance of the beloved. They anoint their bodies with holy ashes and lovingly sacrifice their very lives in remembrance of the beloved. In the depths of silence, the saints immerse themselves and they venture into the very cortex of midstream in remembrance of the beloved. Dada Shyam.
Dada Sham, everybody. On behalf of Dada Vaswani Accra Committee and all the International Sangha gathered here today, we welcome you to the Flight of Faith Accra Satsang. Every week, we take a virtual flight on our satsang to different parts of the world of the same Guru family. In October this month, we witness a lot of special occasions. On 2nd of October, we celebrated the birth anniversary of our great leader, Mahatma Gandhi. This month, on October 15th, we celebrated Dasara. In this auspicious month, we have with us dear Shobha Nihalani from Hong Kong, gracing us with a special interview about her journey with Dada. As all of you already know, Shobha Didi wrote a beautiful book on our beloved Dada called Dada Vaswani, A Life in Spirituality. It is an amazing book, and if you haven't read this book already, you must find time to read it. Shobha Nihalani is an Hong Kong-based author. She has been writing for over 25 years and has written 11 books. She has recently become a certified life coach. She gives talks and holds workshops in empowering people to lead more fulfilling lives. It is indeed an honor to have you amongst us, Shobha Didi, and we welcome you.
Dada Sham, I'm very grateful to be here and to talk about Dada, who's always been guiding sort of, a spirit in the way his wisdom, the way he shares his wisdom. And I always feel that whatever I have shared in the book has, in a way, empowered me to continue my journey as an author, but also in a different way to lead a more fulfilling life. So I'm really happy to be here to share about Dada and my experiences with him, writing the book and learning from him. So thank you.
So tell us, how did you first meet Dada? And if you remember the year.
So I've listened to Dada's talks many times. He's visited Hong Kong. And I've also watched and listened to his lectures and his teachings. The actual meeting I've had, the experience was about 5 years ago when I was in Pune and I went to visit the Dada Vaswani mission, St. Mira School. And I had the opportunity to actually meet him really up close. He was in his wheelchair. He had a shawl around him on his legs, and he was being brought into the satsang hall. And everyone was seated there. I was sitting right in front. And he had this very pleasant smile on his face and, very gentle, very humble looking personality. But I could sense his aura was very strong. So as I was sitting there, I was like genuinely keen to meet him one-on-one. So then I was looking at the devotees nearby, and they said, "Okay, just wait. We'll give you that chance to meet him." So when they wheeled him out later on, I got a chance to meet him in the corridor, and I had all these questions, and I didn't know what I would say to him. I was just planning everything in my head. But when I met him and I kneeled down in front of him, I was just at a loss of words. I didn't know what to say and what to express. It was just a very heartfelt moment. And he just smiled at me and he just nodded and he just said, you've come here for the satsang. I said, yes. And I was very eager to meet you. He said, it's good, we'll meet again soon. So it was just amazing, the sensation that I felt within me. And I think that journey of, you could say, deep transformation started from there. It's been a soulful growth when I started writing this book, and then being very sensitive to the subtle nuances of Dada's way of teaching, the words he would use, his expressions, and the way he expressed himself so in such a humble manner. When I met Didi Krishna regarding the book, I did express to her that, you know what, I write adventure novels. Am I the right person to write about Dada? He's a spiritual master, a humanitarian. Will I be able to do justice to write his life journey? And she said to me, you write adventure novels? Okay, very good. Dada's life has been an adventure. You write it like that. And I was so touched by her, openness and willingness for me to express his story in a very unique manner. But what I felt was that, what I felt so profoundly was that his teachings have a way that everyone can follow them so easily in their daily lives. And that's what mattered to me most at that time. Because when you talk about religion or spirituality, sometimes it can get quite deep or intense, and you don't know how to apply it to everyday situations, whether it's in relationships or in workplace or, in daily life when you have so many different situations to face. So in many ways, his teachings are applicable in all our lives, even in our current times of the pandemic. So Dada's teachings continue to empower, continue to inspire all of us. So it's been a wonderful journey knowing about him and writing about him.
So since Dada has empowered so much, have you been into any difficult situation, and has Dada helped you in any way?
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because there was a moment in my life, you could say it was 5-6 years ago, where my parents were going through many health issues.
Mhm.
So they live in Pune, I live in Hong Kong, so I would constantly worry about them. And there was a time when my father was in the hospital, and I had gone to Pune. I had been in, I was at home, and my mother also was, very worried. She had hypertension, and she would worry about my dad a lot. And at that time, as I'm an only child, so I was a bit overwhelmed by managing, handling the situation with my dad, talking to the doctors, dealing with home and my mother. So my mother was a follower of Dada, and she was a teacher at St. Mira School.
Wow.
So we have we in the home, they have a picture of Dada Vaswani and Dada Jashan, and somehow my eyes fell on those photos, and I asked for guidance, and I said, give me some guidance on how to handle my situation, because I was so overwhelmed and I wasn't sure how to go forward with it. And somehow, almost a few months later, and around that time, my father got better. He came back home. Everything was back to normal. But a few months later, I went back to Pune, and this opportunity came up to write about Dada Vaswani. It was like, I felt that it was a sign from the universe that, go and meet Dada, gain his wisdom, learn his teachings. It was almost like a push that this is where you will get your answer on how to face life, on how to deal with everyday situations, how to learn and develop your mindset, to have that inner strength, that faith. So in many ways, that's how it all happened, that difficulties that come about in our lives, no doubt they can make us feel that we cannot handle it. But actually, if you connect on a deeper level, we have the inner strength. Everyone has it. It's just that you have to stay connected with that inner strength, that divine that Dada always says that we all have within us, the ability to develop our spiritual path. And he said the spiritual path requires courage. You will face obstacles, but that doesn't mean you falter. Maybe you will have moments of weakness, but you can develop and you can come out of it. So his teachings that way were very profound.
So true. So what was Dada's last message to you?
Interesting, when I had that, for my last chapter of my book, I had a Q&A. It's the last chapter is a Q&A where I spent one-on-one time with Dada, which was over an hour long time. And I asked him multiple questions. And one of the questions I did ask him is, Dada, give me some guidance, something that I can apply every day in my life. And he just said, stay connected 24/7. So in his way, he said, always be aware, of this divine within us, and it's all around us. And if we tap into that and we stay connected, we will be able to face and accept our lives the way they are.
So wonderful. How has your journey been so far, from meeting him for the first time to where are you now?
It's very interesting how at that time when I've completed the book, when I completed writing the book around, it was released 2017 and 2016, 2017, around that time. And since then, there's a lot of moments where I feel that suddenly I will be remembering some of the teachings, something I wrote in the book about Dada. And it would come at a time when I was, that I experienced maybe a situation in my journey as an author or a life coach, or learning new things, applying myself in different situations. And I would remember some of Dada's words. And I would remember also how he often said that, that we are the architects of our own destiny. You know, we are the builders of our own fate. And we should remember that every thought that we think, every word that we speak, every action, desire that we have is actually opening us to the possibility to correct ourselves. And we are creating our future, our destiny. So in many ways, his teachings helped me to develop awareness that sometimes when I would be spiraling in negative thoughts or having self-doubt, then I would remember Dada's words, and it was like, okay, let me monitor why I'm having these negative thoughts, where are they coming from, and then develop a deeper understanding on how to change myself. So it, in many ways, he would say that it is up to us to change ourselves. Like, situations will not change around us. We may be living in limiting circumstances. We may experience difficulties, but they are not going to change. It's how we apply ourselves, how we can change, and the attitude that we can develop within ourselves is what makes the difference. So it's more about acceptance, doing your duty, and yes, he did say, you know, seva, satsang, sitting in silence are all important virtues to follow in daily life to develop our spiritual strength. So so that's what I feel, that my journey has been sort of in a sense unfolding in many ways as I get deeper into the spiritual side of what I've learned from Dada.
So besides the teachings, what quality of Dada drew you to him?
So in a nutshell, I would say it is his humility. I mean, he just carries this aura of being so simple. And his words are so simple yet so profound. He carries this deep wisdom around him. You know, while I was writing, I discovered he was a very educated man, highly educated man. And then he chose the path of spirituality. So you could sense that he's very sharp, very intelligent, and very thoughtful in the way he expresses himself. So at times when I would ask him a question, there would be a long pause. And then I would think that maybe he didn't understand my question, or I should repeat myself. And then the others would say, wait, he's thinking. And then he would say something so unique and so relatable. I mean, many of what he taught and the way he expressed himself it resonated with me in many ways. And I think with many people as well who came to see him, they felt a change when they left. You know, they would meet him and they would leave, and they would sense that they were going through a change within themselves. So he had that ability, he had that power, but he was extremely humble. Every time I would ask Dada about anything related to him, how has your journey been? What do you attribute your current status now as a humanitarian and receiving so many awards? he would say, it's not me, it's all my master. It's all his grace. He would never accept anything that he achieved anything. And he had achieved so much. He had done so much selflessly, but he would always credit his master for it. So that's what I found quite amazing, because he would share that a lot about the ego. I mean, how his master taught him about, crushing your ego, but more from a place of developing his spiritual ability, his connection, developing his connection to the divine. So he always credits everything to his guru, his master.
So how has Dada changed your relationship with God?
In that sense, my relationship with God, you would say, my faith is renewed. My trust, my belief is strong. I mean, there are moments where we falter and we have doubts and we think, oh, why is this happening to me? Or why is this happening, to us, or what's going on? But when we look deep within ourselves, we can understand then that when we experience anything in life, it is maybe the divine telling us that we have the capacity or the strength to face it. So it also teaches us how to develop ourselves, how to become stronger, how to develop our ability to face situations in life. Yes, there can be situations where people experience extremely difficult times, a lot of suffering. I mean, we've seen that in our current times. And it is painful to watch people suffer. But all we can offer is our compassion, our ability to help, and our strength, inner strength, as in that faith in God is the way to go forward, to develop. And to be able to continue to, you could say that acceptance is difficult, but we really have to accept the way things are. And acceptance also means being spiritually strong. So it's been a journey of being more proactive towards spirituality. I would say that I've been learning a lot in that area.
Okay, nice. Is there any thought of the day that has left a place in your heart that is shared by Dada?
So there's one thing that he says that I believe is so true, that any act of worship done with a sincere heart is the key to unlocking the doors to the divine. So when I pray every morning, I don't know if the divine hears me or not. I mean, generally, we feel that the divine doesn't hear us. But the truth of the matter is, and I've experienced this, that when I do pray with a sincere heart, I do believe that the divine hears me. And I would say that for everyone, have this trust and faith that the divine hears you when you pray with the sincerity and with humility and with love, with a profound sense of belief that God is watching all over us and he's taking care of our problems. So that innate belief is where I feel that prayer is so important. And Dada always said that, sit in silence, and when you sit in silence, then pray, but with sincerity, with humility. So, and of course, ask for gratitude. Don't ask for things, don't ask for material things,
Yes.
but first shows that you are grateful for where you are, accept, because we are grateful. We have limbs, we can walk, we have our health. For whatever we have, for every breath we take, we need to be grateful. So that's some of the thoughts that I feel that keep us going every day and keeps us connected with the divine 24/7.
Okay, so as you said, you resonated some teachings of Dada. Would you like to add anything else that you've been following to fullest?
Following to the fullest is definitely prayer. And prayer doesn't mean when I go in, enter my prayer room, or when I'm sitting with in the morning for my puja. It means that every single day when I am meeting people, or I'm committed to doing something, any kind of work or activity or task, to be aware of my mindset. It's very easy to get lost in our thoughts, of our assumptions, or what people think of, being in a sense of, or comparing ourselves to others, or like we lose track of who we are as an authentic self, and we tend to want to be somebody else, or we want to be something else, or we want to share our we want to express from a place of pride, if you want to say. But if we connect with people, like with a deep sense of understanding of where they are, that is my journey forward. And that's what we learn in coaching, is deep listening. It's listening, like putting yourself in that person's shoes and understanding their feelings, where they're coming from, and therefore acceptance with non-judgment, and that is towards self and others. So that's my thoughts right now, and I believe that Dada says that whatever we do with humility, and continue doing seva, and always be in a place of positivity. So that's what I would like to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we close, I just wanted to say one thing. When you were talking first time meeting with Dada, the same thing, I could visualize everything right in front of my eyes. The same thing had happened with me when I first time met Dada. I was very young, and I had gone to the satsang hall, and I saw Dada, and I was just craving to go and speak to him one-on-one. So everything just revived back. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
With this, we come to an end with a beautiful journey with Shobha Didi. On behalf of Sadhu Vaswani Center, Accra, a heartfelt thanks to dear Shobha Nihalani Didi for being with us today on our Flight of Faith Satsang. Time has traveled quick, but before we close, I want to say an quote of Dada. What is the secret of contentment? What is the secret of contentment? The faith. The faith that whatever happens, happens for the very best. Dada Sham.
Dada Sham, thank you.
Radha Madhav, Jai Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kunja Bihari, Jai Gopidan Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Gopidan Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Yashodanandan, Jai Vijitanarandan, Jai Yashodanandan, Jai Vijitanarandan, Jai Yamuna Tir Banjari, Jai Yamuna Tir Banjari, Jai Gopichand Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Gopichand Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kunja Bihari, Jai Gopichand Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Gopichand Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Yashodanandan, Jai Vijitanaranjan, Jai Yashodanandan, Jai Vijitanaranjan, Jai Yamuna Tir Banjari, Jai Yamuna Tir Banjari, Jai Gopichand Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Gopichand Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Shyam. 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 Dada Shyam, 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 Dada Shyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 Dada Shyam. Dada Shyam.
When there's so much of human suffering, why would anyone want to devote time towards suffering towards animals?
I may be wrong, but I sometimes feel that one of the causes of human suffering is this, that we make the creatures of God suffer. Now, there is the law of karma. The law of karma says, as you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever you do will be done to you. Just think of the atrocities that are committed, that are perpetrated upon animals day after day, in our streets, in our laboratories, in our slaughterhouses. Are you aware that on an average, a human being eats over 1,000 creatures, big and small, during a lifetime? 1,000 creatures to whom life is as dear as it is to those who eat them up. I think the time has come when all types of human exploitation, when all types of human tyranny must end. The time has come when we must recognize the moral inviolability of the individual, both human and non-human. Today, wherever I go, I hear talk of animal welfare. Animal welfare is not the answer. Animal rights are needed. Men have their rights. Do animals have no rights? Men have their rights. Do they not have duties towards the animal kingdom? Animals who have befriended man since the dawn of creation, the dog, the horse, the cow, they have befriended man through the centuries. Do not men have duties towards them? I believe the time has come when we must get together and formulate a charter of animal rights. Every animal has certain fundamental rights. And the very first right of every animal is the right to live. For we cannot take away that which we cannot give. Since we cannot give life to a dead creature, we have no right to take away the life of a living one. The 18th century gave right to men, the 19th century gave right to slaves, the 20th century gave rights to women. The 21st century, I verily believe, will give rights to animals. That will be a great and glorious day in the history of humanity. But man's heart has not yet awakened. It is the question of the heart. Our heart needs to awaken. I have sometimes shed tears when I have thought of the treatment that we give to animals.
If slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be a vegetarian.
Dada Sham. Time for Ardas. After Sonu, these golden words of pray with sincerity and humility. With humility, we say today's Ardas. प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है करते हो तुम प्रभु जी मेरा नाम हो रहा है करते हो तुम प्रभु जी मेरा नाम हो रहा है प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है तकलीफ और तंगी में नूरेक तू ही मददगार उठाए हैं अंजलि के जन्मों के सारे भार करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी सब काम हो रहा है करते हो तुम दादा मेरा नाम हो रहा है दादा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है ओ सब काम हो रहा है ओ सब काम हो रहा है। दादा शाह।
दादा श्याम हीअं जिन जा बर्थडे आहिनि उन्हनि खे असीं वाधाई ॾियूं। वाधाई हो वाधाई, लक्ष्मी को वाधाई, वाधाई हो वाधाई, लक्ष्मी को वाधाई। करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई, वाधाई हो वाधाई, चंद्रू को वाधाई। करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई, वाधाई हो वाधाई, चंद्रा को वाधाई। करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई, वाधाई हो वाधाई, गोपाल को वाधाई। करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई, वो वाधाई हो वाधाई, झरना को वाधाई। करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई, वाधाई हो वाधाई, सारी संगत को वाधाई, वाधाई हो वाधाई, सारी संगत को वाधाई। करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई, करे सिमरन सेवा करे जीवन सजाई। दादा श्याम।
Our next satsang will be held on the second Friday of the month of November, which is November 12th. जिते विहारी तू फजुल नूरी निहारी तू शुकुर आहे शुकुर तीजो शुकुर आहे शुकुर तीजो शुकुर आहे शुकुर तीजो वाह वाह जिते विहारी तू फजुल नूरी निहारी तू शुकुर आहे शुकुर तुंहिंजो शुकुर आहे शुकुर तुंहिंजो शुकुर आहे शुकुर तुंहिंजो। Dada Sham.